Welcome to this week's episode of Weather or Not. There was a blizzard last weekend for some in Pennsylvania. Details on the quieter forecast this week from Michael Priante. Brian Mastro has a feature on Sunset Weather, the latest model innovations by a Penn State student and 2 alumni. And we have news stories on the Alaskan earthquake, Arctic region, and then the impacts from El Nino in California. Stay tuned. Weather or Not starts right now. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Weather or Not. I'm your host, Michael Spagnolo.
And I'm your forecaster, Michael Priante.
It's a pretty big blizzard for some in southeastern Pennsylvania. Some areas saw over 3 feet of snow. We saw a fair bit of snow here in State College as well.
That's right. We did see a fair bit of snow here in State College. We got around 8 inches of snow. However, if you traveled just to your north, you barely saw any snow. But if you did travel 20 miles to your south, got over 20 inches of snow. So it was a huge, huge gradient with this storm. Many places got over 2 feet.
And it's looking like it's going to be quieter into the upcoming weekend.
Yeah, it certainly does. We have a few clipper systems that might bring some snow, but I'll have more on that later in your forecast.
All right, looking forward to it, Michael. Now, your nature in the news stories.
It turns out that overhunting of wild animals across all of Earth's tropical rainforests are worsening the effects of climate change. Researchers at the National Institute of Amazonian Research and at the Oregon State University have conducted numerous studies that look at Amazonian forest plots. What they found out was that a large amount of species were being hunted at an alarming rate. What makes this more alarming is that these hunted animals play a huge role in the way these Amazon forests are shaped. The lessening of these species have altered the way vegetation grows, which in turn leads to weaker and sparse tree cover. This ultimately means that these forests are slowly losing their ability to absorb large amounts of carbon dioxide, which will now be more prevalent in the atmosphere and will lead to more harmful effects to our planet.
A 7.1 magnitude earthquake rattled the southern coast of Alaska earlier this week. The earthquake was centered near Anchor Point, Alaska, 170 miles south and west of Anchorage. Damage was minor in Anchorage, with most seen items knocked off of store shelves and off of walls. However, widespread power outages were reported in the hours after the earthquake, and some structural damage to homes and roads occurred in some nearby towns. A tsunami was not expected with this earthquake, and one was not reported. Over 15 aftershocks have been felt, and more are expected. And according to the United States Geological Survey, Alaska has up to 24,000 earthquakes a year, as it sits on the northern portions of the Pacific Plate. While this earthquake was particularly strong, it does not stand up to the 9.2 magnitude Great Alaskan Quake and Tsunami of 1964.
El Nino has impacted many regions, including California, where drenching rain has led to rivers overflowing and dangerous mudslides. For the homeless population in Los Angeles, a wetter season means more complications. Already, one homeless woman has died after refusing shelter during a heavy rainstorm. There are dozens of shelters within the Los Angeles metro area, which are accepting those who need a place to stay dry and cool. Officials are trying their best to help get the large homeless population safe by patrolling the areas that could be prone to the flooding. However, there is currently no mandate in place that would allow police to forcefully move homeless individuals to shelters. The city of Los Angeles could eventually adopt a mandate like New York City, which saw police officers move homeless individuals to shelters after temperatures plunged below freezing. Unfortunately, the wet season is not over, and El Nino will continue to bring havoc to the California.
In a day and age when more people than ever are living in Arctic regions, the United States Coast Guard has proposed plans to build 2 new heavy icebreakers worth $1 billion each. A heavy icebreaker must be able to break ice up to 20 feet thick, and currently, the U.S. only has 1 heavy icebreaker in operation, and it was commissioned in 1976. A fleet which used to be 7 strong is now dwindling. While the 399-foot Polar Star is expected to remain in service through 2020, the United States fleet has fallen behind other nations. Russia has a fleet of 41 icebreakers, with 11 more planned for construction in the coming years, and Canada has commissioned 6 more of its own. As the Arctic continues to warm, the Arctic Ocean is becoming easier to traverse. Travel times can be cut by 40% between Europe and East Asia, and energy resources in the region are estimated to be over $30 trillion. If the funding is approved, the 2 new icebreakers will be ready for deployment in 2022.
I'm Michael Priante here with your Central Pennsylvania forecast, and although we won't be dealing with another snowstorm heading up the eastern seaboard, we will be dealing with a few clipper systems as they head well to our north. It shouldn't bring a lot of snow, but it will bring in some warmer temperatures, and I'll talk about that in just a bit. For your Friday here, though, this is what we're expecting, that one of those clippers is going to be up to the north in New York. Cold front's going to be sweeping down into central New York and into northwestern PA, and then back toward Ohio. This storm is going to be moving to our north and east. That shouldn't affect us directly. A few snow showers is likely all the way from northwestern PA into our neck of the woods here in State College. I wouldn't rule out a few snow showers here or there. It shouldn't bring much accumulations, if any. Going into Saturday, though, that's when we start to warm up. We have now high pressure building off the coast. That is going to be leading to some warmer temperatures, especially into the day on Sunday. Again, mostly cloudy skies. We shouldn't be expecting any precipitation as that clipper system stays just to our west. Going into Sunday, though, again, we're in the warm sector of this low pressure system that is centered over the Great Lakes. What that means is now we have warm air, not more moisture, is going to be moving into State College. Temperatures will be in the lower to mid 40s for much of Pennsylvania, and that's going to continue into the rest of next week. So here to recap your forecast, Friday, 30 degrees, some isolated snow showers around. I wouldn't expect much in terms of accumulation, possibly a coating in spots. Going into the evening, we will continue to be cold. We're expecting a temperature of 19 degrees, so the upper teens is what you can expect, with mostly cloudy skies. Going into Saturday now, it'll start to warm up here, 39 degrees, some clouds and sun, but there won't be any precipitation for the foreseeable future. Going into the evening, we will dip down just below freezing, but it will be nicer compared to what we were dealing with on Friday evening. Mostly cloudy skies is what you can expect. And then finally, for your pick of the week on Sunday, 42 degrees with some sun. It's going to be mostly cloudy out there, but it will be feeling really nice. And now here for a feature on sunsets, here's Brian Mastro.
Throughout history, humans have always been fascinated by the bright displays of a magnificent sunset. However, they have not always had the means to know when and where Mother Nature would paint the skies with those beautiful, vivid displays. It used to be the only thing we could tell you about sunsets and sunrises was what time they were going to occur. But now a group of meteorologists from Penn State University has changed that. They can now issue forecasts for sunset quality. Jacob DeFlitch, Ben Reppert, and Steve Hallett have developed a model that can actually predict how vivid sunsets and sunrises will be every day.
Yeah, I was a photographer at Penn State University for about a year and a half, and during that time I did a lot of landscape shots around campus. And sometimes I would try to get sunrise and sunsets, and sometimes it wouldn't work out. So it kind of was worked in with my frustration of missing a sunset or going out and not getting a good one. So I had the idea for a year or two now, and I finally started really putting it into the works. It was an idea that was spurred off a hobby and something I enjoy doing. So when you have a passion for what you're doing and maybe what you even create, I think that's really going to push it forward, and there's no stopping where you can go if you really have a love and a drive for what you've created.
The idea was there, but in order to turn the dream into reality took a lot of hard work and dedication. It took multiple weeks to determine what variable should go into the algorithm, and then also to develop a model that presented the data in a clear and easy to understand way for the user.
So the parameters involved in this model involve the distribution of clouds throughout the atmosphere, and they also involve things like pressure tendencies and positions of fronts and just general synoptic and mesoscale systems that can affect the sunset quality. So it took me about 3 weeks to write the algorithm to come up with like version 1.0, and then ever since version 1.0 was released, I've been adding to it. I started out with sunsets, and now I have sunrises, and I'm constantly, along with Ben and Jake, improving the algorithm from day to day.
Through verifications, the model has proven to be accurate at predicting where the best sunsets and sunrises will occur each day. However, their verification process is a bit tedious.
Right now, our verification process is strictly doing the dirty work and going out and finding pictures ourselves and tracking down photos and people and just being able to match up a picture to our forecast. So a lot of what I do right now is on the social side of things. Easily at least an hour or two each night on the Twitter and Facebook.
On just the fourth night the model was active, it predicted a vivid sunset for New York City. and New York City got a truly spectacular sunset that evening, lighting up social media. The success of the model at predicting this got it picked up by Slate.com and garnered national media attention that would soon lead to an interview with CBS Morning News. The national media attention allowed the model to get popular quicker than they ever could have imagined, and now the model is only improving since then. They have added sunrise forecasts and continue to improve upon their algorithm to predict quality sunsets. And now, the future of this looks even brighter.
People don't want to need to go to the website and interpret the map. They want push notifications as to how each sunset's going to be. They want the email alerts. They want it to be easy. So I guess that my goal is to have a user-friendly product, whether it be in an app form or whatever form it may take on, that can satisfy the users.
Whenever you want to know if you're going to see a vivid sunset in your area, go to SunsetWx.com and give them a follow on Twitter at SunsetWx. For Whether or Not, I'm Brian Mastro.
Well, again, here I am with your extended forecast, and let's just take a look at what we can expect this weekend. Again, here is your weekend recap. For Friday, we're expecting a few isolated snow showers for much of State College. Again, a coating is not out of the question, but I do believe that most of the precipitation will be to our north and west. 30 degrees is what we're calling here, and then in the evening, we can get back up into the upper teens as a low. For your Saturday and Sunday, as high pressure will be building into the region, temperatures will be getting up into the upper 30s, close to the 40-degree mark for Saturday, and then by Sunday we get up there in the lower to mid 40s. So it is going to be very nice as we end the weekend. And then going into next week is looking really, really nice. We have temperatures that might be flirting with the 50-degree mark, especially in January. That's really mild. Our temperature should be around 34, 35 degrees as a high. But on Monday and Wednesday, we will be flirting with that 50-degree mark. Tuesday starts to dip back down into the lower 40s. And then Thursday and Friday is where we start to get back to reality, and temperatures will start to trail back down toward the average mark, even going a little bit below average. As Friday, we're expecting a temperature below freezing. But still, next week is really looking like a nice week. Besides that Wednesday forecast, rain. Otherwise, it's looking like a really nice week, and it will continue into the rest of the week.
Thank you for that extended forecast, Michael. Going to be nice to have some warmer temperatures this weekend.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be looking forward to those milder temperatures as we head into the weekend and then into early next week.
It's now time to get the solution to your whiz quiz question. What is the highest temperature ever recorded in State College during the month of January? Is it A, 68 degrees, B, 59 degrees, C, 63 degrees, or D, 71 degrees? If you said D, 71 degrees, then you are correct. 71 degrees was the high temperature on January 25th, 1950. So definitely not any record temperatures in the next 7 or 10 days.
Definitely not. We won't be experiencing 71 degrees, but enough to continue the snow melt.
All right, well, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Whether or Not. I'm your host, Michael Spagnolo.
And I'm your forecaster, Michael Priante. Have a great day.